Traces of the attack on Steepleton can still be seen, but the repair work is coming on well. While taking a rest, you see a cart trundling along the road not far away from you. A young couple are sitting on the box seat, clearly in love and more interested in each other than the rest of the world around them. The sight reminds you of a long, unanswered question.
So, I was wondering, what do female dwarfs look like?
Pretty. Very pretty.
Uh-huh.
You were expecting a little more information.
Do they have beards?
No, I would say it's more like fluff. Oh, very attractive.
And what do they do? I mean, are they warriors too?
In our kingdom, most take care of domestic life. They take the animals down to the meadows in the valleys, make sure the larders are full and that there's plenty of good beer, and make our clothes. It only ever causes problems when men and women stand shoulder to shoulder in battle. Some of them are talented stonemasons and smiths, and beware of insulting their skills. They are no less proud than we are.
Once again, you reach the crossroads and the Stone Sheep Tavern. You walk to the nearest empty table with the twins in tow and sit down. The landlord comes out from behind the bar and walks over to your table. He gives a narrow smile.
Good to see you again. What can I get you today?
You hear surly muttering from one of the tables.
What are groundlings doing showing their faces here, now of all times?
You turn to the guest who'd muttered something about groundlings.
And why is it so strange that we're here?
The man glances up briefly and then stares drunkenly at his tankard and mutters with a slur,
Don't play the innocent. The orcs are terrorizing our lands. And whose fault is it? You let them in.
I was not at the Stone Gateway, and I don't know what happened. But you can be sure of one thing. Dwarves would never cooperate with orcs. We kill them no sooner than we say them, or my name isn't Boindle Doubleblade.
The drunkard and his neighbour are given a start. They mumble an apology and turn their attention to the beer in front of them. Despite Boindeal's loud protestations about wanting another drink, you say goodbye and set off on your way accompanied by the twins. A colourful trader's wagon drawn by two stocky horses is coming towards you. A small man is sitting on the box seat, and as soon as he sees you, the wagon slows down. As it draws to a stop next to you, you realise that the driver isn't human. He's a dwarf.
Greetings, my friends. All too rarely does one meet wayfaring dwarves around here. You can call me Mort.
Greetings, Mort. I am Tungdil. This is Boindale and Boendal.
You are happy to meet another dwarf, and such a friendly and eloquent one at that.
Wayfaring dwarves may not be common, but a travelling dwarf trader? Now that really is weird.
Then you see what great luck it is that we've met like this. Come, have a look at my wares. I'm sure you'll find something to make a dwarf's life a little sweeter. I'll make you a good price.
Mort, I hope you don't mind me asking, but which kingdom are you from?
The dwarf's clothes seem more like those of humans, and he isn't bearing any coat of arms.
My kingdom? Is that important? I'm my own kingdom. I go where I please and enjoy the fresh air and the sun on me skin.
At your side, Boindle is tensing his muscles, and you think you see from the corner of your eye his hands moving a little nearer to the handle of his axes.
Is your kingdom important?
You two must be secondlings, right? I can tell by your armour. But you,
He looks you over for a while.
you're not a secondling, are you?
As you yourself don't know for sure which kingdom you belong to, you give no answer and just shrug your shoulders. Mort throws you a knowing glance and nods slowly.
Where are you heading?
To Clintle, a small village where I can expect to do very little business. But the people there are nice and kind. I've known some of them since they were smaller than me. Isn't it astounding how much they manage to achieve in such short lives?
After glancing at Boindill's grave expression, Mort continues unfazed.
I can say in all certainty that there's not the same ambition to make a difference and change things in our halls.
That is because there is no reason to change things if you do them right first time. We dwarves think first before acting.
As it is Boindill of all people making such a claim, you're sure it must be a joke. But your friend continues to eye the trader with a serious and distrustful look.
I grew up with Megaslot Yonan in Yonandar. I would have given anything to meet someone like you.
I rarely leave this area. People know me here, so the abuse isn't too bad.
Mort shrugs his shoulders, as if it were no big deal. When he sees the concerned look on your face, he adds,
I don't blame them. It's our fault too. We turned our backs on other races. People fear what they don't know.
We must press on. It was a pleasure meeting you, Mort.
Mort smiles.
The feeling is mutual, Tungdill. Vrakas be with you.
Mort spurs the horses on, and the colourful wagon jolts into motion.
You shouldn't be so trusting.
The wagon is no more than a few yards away when Boindill looks at you reproachfully.
A dwarf who lives alone among humans for years on end and disowns his kingdom? Don't you know what that means?
He's an outcast, Tungdill. His kingdom and his clan have banished him. It's a severe punishment, only dealt out for serious offences.
The twins enter into a long discussion about what crime the trader may have committed, and go on to teach you the basics of dwarven law. As dramatic as their accounts may be, you didn't have the impression that Mort was a criminal, nor that he suffered particularly from his exile. You arrive at a small, bustling village. One thing is clearly missing from the lively scene: the sound of metal on metal from the village smithy that would normally be heard above everything else at this time of day. A dour, grim-looking man is sitting in front of the forge with his right arm in a sling. His expression brightens as he sees you, and he jumps to his feet.
Dear dwarves, could I interest you in helping me in my workshop for a day?
The man's expression is somewhere between desperation and hope. As you don't answer immediately, he continues.
You will, of course, be royally rewarded for your work. I can offer you 100 gold pieces.
What happened to your arm?
A stupid accident. A box of blanks fell down. I was trying to catch it. It will heal, fortunately, but I won't be able to wield my hammer for a while.
You must have quite a backlog of work.
You nod sympathetically. You always felt bad if you were ill or couldn't work in the forge for some reason or other.
Loads. But if what I hear about the metalworking skills of the dwarves is true, it would be easy for you to manage it in a day.
I could help you, but compared to human standards, I'm a master smith, so my services will cost you more.
The smith gulps.
More? How much?
Double. My services should be worth that.
Anger and indignation are written across the man's face.
That's much too much. I could have the smith in the neighbouring village do my work for cheaper. I won't pay more than I offered. Take it or leave it.
You say goodbye and leave. After only a few steps, the resigned voice of the smith calls you back.
All right. Double.
A little later, you are standing in the workshop, examining the smith's inferior tools, while he fires up the forge and prepares everything for the job, as well as he can, with just one good arm. You weren't able to persuade the twins to help you. As warriors, they'd rather go hunting, Boindil declared. But you think it's more probable that you'll find them drinking beer. But you don't care. You're excited about being able to smith again after such a long time. Hours later, you have forgotten everything around you. The heat of the forge, the sweat on your warm skin, the play of the flames. You're in your element and work as if in a trance. The smith left the workshop ages ago with a satisfied grin on his face.
Oi, I'm talking to you.
You look up in surprise. Everything but the beating of the hammer had ceased to exist, and you didn't notice that someone has come in.
Can you do it?
You immediately dislike the middle-aged man. He sounds you out so doggedly with his light grey eyes that it feels as though he wants to look right through you and into your deepest thoughts. The man points to two horses.
Those two, in 1 hour.
These two need shoeing. Oh, no problem.
The man doesn't look convinced, but you get to work with confidence after examining the horses' hooves. Two more armed men are standing next to the horses, sizing you up. You concentrate on the work. The only sound you hear is the melodic beat of the hammer against the anvil. You keep track of the armed men out of the corner of your eyes. You suspect they are mercenaries. While you're fitting the third horseshoe, another armed man enters the forge and speaks in hushed tones with the leader of the group.
He's the only one here.
The man nods in your direction, and you quickly shift your attention back to the work. You play it cool and complete the work. As the leader of the mercenaries pays you, you have the feeling that he is trying to transfix you with his eyes. The men leave the workshop without a word.
So, you're mercenaries, I take it?
You're only trying to engage in conversation, but the man looks at you incredulously, as if he didn't expect dwarves to be able to talk.
Something like that.
Got lots of work? Oh, do you know anything about the armies of orcs from the south?
We can't complain.
The man's tone makes it clear that the conversation has ended here. You carry out the work in silence. As the leader of the mercenaries pays you, you have the feeling that he is trying to transfix you with his eyes. The men leave the workshop without a word. You ignore the horsemen and concentrate on your work. When you tell the twins about your visitors later on, they know exactly who you're talking about. They encountered them on the way back from hunting. You spend the night in the smith's house and continue on your way, with your well-earned reward the next morning. In the early evening, you make an unusual discovery on the side of the road. A colourful trader's wagon has been carelessly abandoned, with not a soul in sight. You immediately recognise the wagon.
That's Mort's wagon.
I don't like the look of this one bit, Boindil. You take a look around there, I'll stay on this side. Tungdil, You check the surrounding area and be careful.
You scan the road and the woods on both sides. Apart from the twins who are fighting their way through the undergrowth within earshot, you can't hear or see anyone. The wagon itself isn't damaged, nor is the drawbar, but the belts and leashes that normally hold the draft animals have been cut clean through. You can see a lot of tracks in the mud around the wagon, hoof prints and footprints from humans in heavy boots. At least half a dozen long ones must have approached the wagon from the woods on both sides. The dwindling daylight provides little light inside the wagon. It smells of leather, spices, and candles. And there's another smell in the air, which you can't quite place. It reminds you of your forge in Lot Yonan's vaults, but different. It is messy, but no more so than you would expect from a single dwarf. The bed is rumpled, and there are tools and leftover materials piled up on the little workbench. There are several cupboards hanging on the right-hand wall. At the end of the wagon, there's a large wardrobe, and next to the door on the left is a heavy wooden chest with rusty metal hinges. The smaller cupboards are piled high with a multitude of tins and boxes, all filled with odds and ends that the trader offered for sale to customers on his trips. Nothing of real interest. You reach for the knob of the wardrobe and then stop. The rug in front of the wardrobe squelches as you step on it, as if you had stepped in a puddle. You try to work out what has soaked the rug, when suddenly the door of the wardrobe springs open and something bounces into you. You take a step back, and the realization of what hit you makes you take two more. Lying on the floor in front of you is the body of a dwarf, headless. The head has been cut clean from the neck, but the dwarf's clothes leave you in no doubt that this is Mort, the trader. You take a couple of deep breaths. His head has been cut off cleanly, probably with a sharp blade. A quick glance in the wardrobe confirms what you already suspect. The dwarf's head is nowhere to be seen. As you try to lift the lid of the chest, you realize that the lock has been broken out of the wood. You open the lid and look inside. Amongst clothes and some empty boxes, you find a loot case and a beautiful loot of the kind that humans build, as well as a bag of bread and cured meat. You take the loot. You can't play, but an instrument like this is worth good gold. You take the bread and the cured meat. The extra provisions should keep you going for a few days. You give a short, sharp whistle, and the twins come running at the double. You tell them what you found.
A group of horsemen with heavy boots has been here. I found Mort in the wagon, beheaded. I have a hunch that the mercenaries from Fallow Rock have something to do with this.
Wretched dwarf killers!
You can tell that Boindil wants revenge and can understand his feelings well. You wrap the body in linen, dig a hole in the woods, and place the body in it. You lay a couple of his tools and other personal belongings you found in the wagon next to him. You wish there was more you could do for him. You continue on your journey in gloomy spirits. You come across an orchard next to a farmstead and surrounded by several fields of wheat. You don't see anyone working in the fields, but there's a young man lying under an apple tree. He has his legs crossed and a straw hat is covering his face.
Excuse me, but we're looking for a group of mercenaries. Have they passed by here?
The young man is startled. He must have nodded off. He looks around anxiously. When he sees you, the fear disappears from his face and is replaced by curiosity. It seems to you that the man is sizing you up.
And if I answer, what's in it for me?
You draw your axe, and a moment later, the twins do the same. They seem to realize what your plan is.
We don't have much time. Speak.
The man glares at you angrily. He toys with the idea of throwing something at your head, but finally responds with demonstrative composure. Northwards. They rode northwards, he says. Boindale grins, and you two are satisfied with your bully boy tactics. You put your axes away and continue on your journey, while the young man watches you with a defiant air. The first thing you notice as you enter the village of Clintal is how quiet it is. There is hardly a soul in the streets, and the few people you do see immediately disappear into their houses as you get closer. Boindale draws his axes, and Boendal his raven's beak.
Something's not quite right here. Be alert.
You walk on until you reach the village square. Without a word, men enter the square from the left and the right, cutting off your way. You recognize the leader of the group of mercenaries, looking you over with a satisfied expression. Standing next to him is a frail man with greying hair, who doesn't seem able to cope with the situation. He tries several times to say something, but can't find the right words.
Are you going to kill us just like you killed the traveling trader?
The leader of the mercenaries shakes his head sadly and seems shaken.
You fiends want to lay the blame on us. You damn murderers.
Murderers? Come here, dwarf killer!
Are you denying your terrible deed? You were seen murdering poor old Mort, one of your kind, in cold blood.
The old man points unnecessarily to the leader of the mercenaries.
So apparently, you saw us committing murder, but you didn't intervene? And then you overtook us, and only set a trap for us now, and here, several days' journey from the place where it happened. Your story doesn't seem to make much sense.
We knew that the good people of Clintal would stand by us in confronting you. Mort was well known and respected around here.
But how did you know that we would come to Clintal of all places? If you were really tracking us, that wouldn't have been possible. But if you, on the other hand, were the ones being tracked, then it would have been easy for you to steer us into this trap.
He does have a point, Medarin. Why did you?
The village elder stops mid-sentence as the leader of the mercenaries draws his sword. The village elder turns from the mercenary to look at you, and then gives his men a signal to withdraw.
Watch out for the archers.
On my way! All right.
Yes!
As good as done. All right.
Of course!
On my way!
What is it?
Huh? Yes?
Of course!
On my way!
Yeah! Huh?
Yes? Huh?
And what now?
What is it? All right. As good as done.
What is it?
Huh?
Yeah! Huh?
Yes? Huh?
And what now?
What is it? Don't rush me! Huh? On my way. At once.
What is it?
Too easy! I didn't hit you very hard! Yes? Huh?
Huh? I'm not that quick!
What is it? All right. Huh?
Yeah! And what now?
Huh? Huh? As good as done. On my way. All right.
Yes!
As good as done. On
Yes,
my
yes.
way. As good as done. On
Yes,
my
yes.
way. As good as done. All right.
Let's go! Yeah! What is it?
What is it? On my way.
And what now?
Huh? Yes?
Huh?
Yes?
He actually put up
Another
a
one
fight!
bites the dust. Huh?
What is it?
What is it? Yes? Who's next? I didn't hit you very hard. As good as done. All right.
Yes!
of my way!
Huh? Yeah!
Huh? As good as done.
What is it?
Yes? Yes?
Huh?
Huh? Pow! Another one bites the dust.
The last of the mercenaries falls to the ground, but Boindil is still in the frenzy of battle. You and Boendal have to physically restrain him until he comes to his senses. Otherwise, he would have stormed the houses to find more adversaries. You walk up to the body of the mercenaries' leader and search his pockets. You soon find something. A letter.
An anonymous client seeks dwarf skulls cleanly cut, shorn, and put into jars with honey. 1,000 gold coins will be paid for each skull. Khan, Bounty Hunters Guild Master.
That's bounty hunters. Hunting for dwarves. Despicable.
You hold the letter aloft so that everyone can see it.
Look, citizens of Clintel, proof that these men are the killers. They are bounty hunters hunting for dwarves.
The village elder comes out of one of the houses, flanked by other villagers. You ignore their weapons, as well as their sinister expressions, and hand over the letter.
It would seem you are telling the truth. And you only killed those who deceived us. I thank you for this.
The village elder signals to a woman, and a few moments later, she brings you food and a bag of gold.
Take this in thanks for your actions.
You approach the village and can tell, even from far off, that something isn't right. The smell of burnt wood and death is in the air.
By Vracus.
The piggies have really shown those pointy ears. We couldn't have done it any better.
Stay alert. I want to find out what happened to Garen.
The elf maiden's graceful snow-white face still radiates beauty, in terrible contrast to the rest of her appearance. From the neck down, she is nothing more than a blood-red, damp and glistening skeleton. There are long nails sticking through her thin bones, and where her beautiful eyes once were, are now gaping black holes. The hand that painted this picture was that of a master. It is composed exclusively in shades of red, but every single little detail is painstakingly and precisely reflected. Trees, the remains of buildings, bodies. You hesitate.
This picture portrays the village in its state of ruin.
Examining the canvas more closely, you realize that it is actually made of skin, and the red paint seems more than suspicious now.
This is the most disgusting thing I have ever seen.
The smell of the smoke has accompanied you for a while now, but here, so close to the bodies, it is masked by the sweet smell of death. You have a bitter taste in your mouth and have to pull yourself together to avoid vomiting in disgust. You have read about the elves and their buildings. This here had always just been a small example of their architectural skill, which achieved perfection in Alandur. Now burning and ruined, the pavilion makes an even sadder impression.
Hoofprints, burned into the ground.
Hellfire?
The fire in Boindill's eyes flares up with delight.
Huzzah! That would make a change from those stupid Peggies. Did you hear that, brother? We might get to test our blades on Tion's pointy ears.
Green Glade was one of the few places in Girdlegard where humans and elves live together. You don't see any elven features among all the faces contorted with pain and fear. You look away. The body of the man is riddled with arrows and is lying in a small patch of undamaged ground, while a sea of flames must have raged in a circle around him. The robes remind you of those of Lot Yonan's famuli. This, plus the fact that the man used magic, makes you quite sure that this is Garen.
Garen had these books on him when he was attacked. Was he trying to bring them to safety?
Your eyes fall upon a sealed letter next to the books. The circumstances seem grave enough for you to break the seal.
Greetings, Tugger. I am glad to hear that you finally wish to confide in Lot Yonan. I have found out something new about the demon. It's all written in these books. I think they are the key to his destruction, or I hope so, at least. Yours faithfully, Goren. What demon are they talking about?
You instinctively think about how the magical barrier is only a few days' march north of here, and beyond it, Verakus only knows. what kind of creatures live in the Perish Land.
You destroyed my painting. Now I need fresh blood to paint a new one.
Huzzah! This will be fun! We finally get to fight!
I hope your blood doesn't clot too much. It has to be nice and fluid for my fine brushstrokes.
Ha! How do you plan to defeat us, pointy ears? There are 3 of us!
Oh, only 3. That makes it easier.
She looks over the corpses.
Oh, Tharin Lueth Buanre!
What's happening?
That's the perished land.
Impossible. Greenglade is south of the barrier.
I know of nothing else that can resurrect the dead. Knock their heads off or they'll keep coming back.
Of course!
Yes?
What is it?
Huh?
Huh? Huh?
Huh?
Yes?
And what now? Yes! So,
What is it?
Yes?
And again. Too easy! Huh? Yes?
what is it?
Yes?
What is it?
Huh?
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 Oh, he didn't hit you very hard! Yes?
And what now?
Yes?
What is it?
Uh-huh.
Huh? Huh?
Huh?
Too easy! Who's next? Yes?
What is it?
Yes? On my way.
Huh?
Huh?
Another one bites the dust. Yes?
What is it?
Uh-huh.
And what now? I'm not that quick.
Yes?
What is it? Huh? Yes, yes.
Huh? Understood. As good as done.
All right, yes. Huh? And what now?
Yes?
What is it? What is it? No! Hey!
They're hitting me pretty hard! Huh?
On my way!
As good as done!
Yes? Huh? Yes, yes! Soon! I didn't hit you very hard!
Huh?
Huh? What is it? I'm not that quick!
Yes?
On my way! He hardly put up a fight!
As good as done!
What is it? And what now?
Huh?
Huh? What is it? Yes, yes,
Yes.
soon!
Another one bites the dust!
What is it? Huh?
Huh?
Huh? He hardly put up a fight! And what now?
Yes?
Who's next?
Please wait a moment!
Yes? Huh?
Huh? I can't do that yet!
I didn't hit you very hard! Huh? What is it?
Yes?
What is it? And what now?
Huh?
Pow! Another one bites the dust! Huh? All right! Yeah! Huh?
Huh?
He hardly put up a fight!
Ow! Another one bites the dust.
Dwarves, you protected the glade.
The perished land. The barrier has fallen.
You can feel your stomach cramping. Unlike Boindale, you can't say a word.
The damn Magi only had one job!
So this is what it is like to rise from the dead. I feel nothing. I am left with nothing. My love, my beauty, my home, and my forest. Everything has been taken from me. I beg you, have mercy and put an end to my suffering.
Without even being able to look into her eyes, you recognize the sadness in the elf maiden's expression. The dignity that she must once have radiated can only be imagined in her current state.
Garen was here, and I've heard that you elves have special abilities in battle. Did the Alpha take you by surprise in your sleep?
I felt her presence, but when I confronted the elf, she had already killed the first of us and resurrected the perished land. It fills humans and dwarves with a hatred for life. It turns you into beasts. They charge through the village like a fury, and everyone that they killed became one of theirs.
If the perished land spreads further south, then Nodon won't need any orcs, ogres, or Alfar. One human losing their life in the perished land would be enough for the madness to sweep through the land like the plague.
Your stomach turns, but you know that it's right. You've never seen the twins looking so serious. They would pit themselves against any army of orcs, but this is something beyond their power, and yours.
We need the Magi. They must rebuild the barrier. We must go to Lot-Yonan before the perished land spreads further. He will know what is to be done.
Neither of your companions objects.
I can't believe it. The barrier has fallen. How could that happen?
Who could tell? Anything could go wrong with all that hocus-pocus.
It had held back the perished land since the fall of the Fifthlings. Reinforcing the barrier whenever it loses power is the primary duty of the great Magi. I can't imagine how Nodon or anyone else could have broken through it.
You think of the demons mentioned in Garen's letter. You wonder whether it could be possible that a demon from the outer lands might possess powers so great that even the 6 Magi weren't ready for it. Every evening since you left Greenglade, you have looked at Goren's books and tried to prize out the knowledge that they hold. But now, you must admit to yourself that you can't decipher them. They are written in the learned language for High Magi, and Lot Yonan didn't teach you that. However, you're sure that the books are important. Why else would Goren want them sent to Turga the Fair-Faced? You put them away with a sigh, and your eyes remain on the bag that Lot Yonan gave you. Did Goren ask Lot Yonan to return the magical artifacts in the pouch? You pick up the pouch and look at it.
Lot Yonan forbade me from opening the pouch.
The hamlet of Sungird certainly lives up to its name. You arrive as the sun sets behind the tower of a Palandial temple, lighting up its stained glass. There's a shop in the village, and through the window, as well as some everyday objects and food, you also spy a shelf full of books. A small bell rings as you enter the shop. The twins look around, but seem rather disinterested, until they discover a couple of gemstones on display. On the wall to your left is the bookshelf you saw through the window. It's quite unusual for a village shop to sell books. You stroll towards the bookshelf and read some of the titles written on the spines of the books. You know many of the works from Lot Yonan's library.
Oh, by fracas, look, dear brother! The scholar really is looking at books!
It's an interesting selection, Boindil. I could make some recommendations for you.
Boindil throws his arm around your shoulder and pulls you slowly away from the bookshelf.
What if someone sees you? Here, this is more our kind of thing.
You follow him reluctantly and are shown the selection of gemstones. Just like previous nights, you are haunted by the image of the elf maiden nailed to the tree in Greenglade. You wake from your sleep and look around you. The night is unusually dark. Despite your good dwarven eyes, you can only make out Boendal's outline, even though he is keeping watch only a few steps away. You're about to lie down again, but suddenly feel something cold against your throat. Next to you, the pale face of an elf slides into view.
Good evening. I'm afraid we missed each other in Greenglade, so my companion had to receive you on her own.
You want to speak, but the blade is pressed against your larynx, and you can only manage a wheeze.
Shush. You don't need to talk. I'm not going to kill you. Not yet. Do you know what I'm going to do instead?
You feverishly search for an answer, but you can't even imagine how an Alfar thinks.
I will kill everyone who means anything to you. I will destroy your life, and you will sink into hopelessness, groundling. Your downfall is called Synthoras.
You tense your muscles, readying to defend yourself, but suddenly realize that the blade against your throat has disappeared. You look around, astonished. The elf is nowhere to be seen. You look over to Boendal, who is easy to recognize in the bright moonlight. Next to you, Boindil smacks his lips in his sleep. You touch your throat, and when you don't feel anything, you breathe out, relieved.
Just a nightmare.
At least that's what you tell yourself. But you don't close your eyes for the rest of the night. You reach Parista and go straight to the seat of the Council of Magi. A worried and grim-looking guard bars your way.
Sorry, we are not to let anyone into the palace.
The guard looks around nervously.
Lightning bolts. A couple of days ago. Not like in a storm, but in all the colours of the rainbow. On the next day, we were told that the Magi had all departed again, and Master Nudin was not to be disturbed. No one has been allowed in the palace since then. Not even us.
The report of lightning bolts doesn't particularly worry you. On the contrary. If the Magi have travelled back to their kingdoms, it can only mean that they were able to reinforce the barrier. You are eager to hear Lot Yonan's account in the vaults. Boindil unwraps his dwarf cheese again and cooks it on the fire. When he offers you a piece, you take it.
I knew we'd make a dwarf of you in the end.
You chew on the cheese so you don't have to answer. It tastes better than you first thought. Traces of the attack on Steepleton can still be seen, but the repair work is coming on well. Once again, you reach the crossroads and the Stone Sheep Tavern. You walk to the nearest empty table with...
We're tired and long for a proper bed.
Of course, gentlemen.
You spend a restful night in the tavern and then head off on your way again. Several wagons full of building materials pass you by on the way to Goodwater. The village's fortifications still show evidence of the orcs' attack, but they are making good progress with the repair work.
There they are, the dwarves, Goodwater's saviours, come in! There's always a warm meal and a welcoming bed for you here.
I could get used to this.
You see a light through the trees some way from the path. It inevitably brings to mind your encounter with the woodcutters. You tell the dwarves about your encounter with the woodcutters and how you intimidated them.
Ha! Very dwarf-like, but I think we'll have to teach them a lesson anyway.
Humans are not our enemies, Boindil.
You must confess that you'd have liked to have taught the woodcutters a lesson, but Boendal is right.
Beating up humans is not our mission.
But...
A harsh glance from you and Boendal silences Boindil. You continue on your way with a furious Boindil trailing behind.
Why are the Magus' vaults here in the middle of nowhere? And why does the Lord of Yonandar live in a vault and not in a castle?
It's to do with the magical fields that spread out under Girdlegard, so the 5 magical realms are found where the fields are at their strongest.
And that's why he lives in the vaults? To be closer to the underground magic?
No, it's more to do with security. 200 students of magic and a source of almost unlimited magical energy. The Magus thought that an underground vault was a more suitable place to train than Master Nudin's tower in the middle of Parista.
I don't like it here. All this hocus-pocus is bad news. Us dwarves know that and keep well away, just as Vracus commanded. I hope you know that too.
I cannot perform magic, and I've never attempted to. Nevertheless, please show respect. Remember that it was Lot Yonan who took me in and saved me.
Now then, It would seem that the tongue of the learned one becomes somewhat haughtier, and his sentences doth wind most strangely as we verily approach the vaults.
You can't help but grin guiltily. With a beseeching glance at the twins, you step into the area in front of the vaults. Seeing no one there you might greet, you and your companions enter your old home through the open gate.
Who the hell built this tunnel?
Bowendahl examines the crumbling roof with a mixture of disbelief and indignation.
Be quiet. I want to surprise them.
Is that such a good idea? What if we give your master such a shock that he casts a spell on us? I don't want to be turned into a mouse or a bar of soap.
It is unusually quiet in the vaults, but the smell of dinner is in the air. You imagine Frala looking up at you from her cooking pot in the kitchen and smiling.
Ah, there's boiled and roasted meat for dinner. Come on.
That's no reason to go and get ourselves turned into something weird. We'll stay here until you're finished with your little game. Only longuns will build like this. They've cut through the strata with no concern for the veins. That's obvious. Even to a warrior like me.
Oh, the warmth has dried out the strata and made them all crumbly. Even the wooden beams won't hold the roof up for much longer.
Tungdo, have you found your magus yet?
No, not yet. I'll keep looking.
Your workshop seems smaller than you remember it. You are also sure that it smells different than when you set off months ago.
A couple of weeks ago, this anvil was my whole world. Now my world's a whole lot bigger.
Lumps of meat rise up and appear on the brown, bubbling surface of the soup before sinking back down out of sight. The hearty smell makes your mouth water.
A human foot?
Your stomach turns, and you have to fight hard against the impulse to run out of the kitchen screaming.
What happened here? Speak!
Ah, another one.
Don't even think of using magic, or I'll lodge this pretty piece of steel in your brain.
It takes the Famulus a few seconds to comprehend the situation he suddenly found himself in. He seems to weigh up his options for a moment before he breathes out and the tension leaves his body.
All right, I won't use magic.
What happened here? Where is everyone?
For a while, The famulus seems to be playing with the idea of being stubborn. Bowendahl pushes a little harder on the end of the crow's beak, and the tip penetrates the skin. Blood seeps out.
Ah! Ah! They're gone! Dead!
A school full of magi destroyed without any signs of struggle? Lies.
The facts seem stacked against it, but you cling on to this faint hope.
Lot Jonan's famuli were already in Parista. There were only novices left. We made easy work of them. The Elfar, Syntharas, he insisted on being part of the raid after he found out that you grew up here. He opened the gates and killed most of those here before they even knew what was happening.
In your mind's eye, you see a pale face appearing from the darkness. You saw what Elfar are capable of in Greenglade. You push the thought to the back of your mind and try to keep a clear head.
Lot Jonan, where is he?
Nodon killed him. He killed all of them in Parista. There's no one left in Girdlegard who can take on the last Magus.
You're saying that someone took on all 6 of the Magi at once and defeated them? Ridiculous.
5 Magi. My master Nudin is Nodon the Doublefold, the Lord of the Perished Land and soon-to-be Lord of Girdlegard. He killed the masters, and the apprentices followed soon after. They're all gone, and he changed the magic field so that only we can use them.
An icy hand grabs your heart. It's impossible that there's only a single Magus left, and he's not fighting against, but for the Perished Land.
Why are you snooping around in Lot Jonan's study? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for artifacts that Lot Jonan, when he was in Parista, claimed he had forgotten and left in a cupboard. And for the books that were stolen from Greenglade. I'm guessing you're the dwarves that stole the books.
What does your master want with the artifacts and the books?
I don't know. He commands, we obey. He's going to be very displeased. I did find a bag in the cupboard, but it didn't contain the right objects.
I've had enough of your lies. They're alive. Lot Jonan escaped and has gathered his apprentices, Frala, and the others around him to fight against Nodon. We just have to find them.
The war was over before you even noticed it had begun. Nodon cannot be stopped. He is on his way here and will just...
Blah, blah. We will leave immediately. This news is of great importance to the Council of Dwarves.
I'm not going anywhere. I have to find my friends, and I...
Orcs! Lots of them!
I will get them! Yeah! What is it? What is it? I didn't hit you very hard!
Huh?
Yes?
Huh? Uh-huh.
Yeah! What is it? And what now? Oh, yes? Huh? Who's next? The pillars! We could knock some of them down and bury those runts!
Yes?
Vile creature! Huh? What is it? Kill! Bites the dust! We hardly put up a fight!
Huh? What is it?
Huh? Huh? What is it?
Yes?
Who's next?
What is it?
And what now? And again. Yes?
Huh? Huh?
Huh? And what now? He hardly put up a fight.
Uh-huh.
Yes? There are too many of them!
The side door in the workshop. It's our only chance.
What is it?
Yes? Foul creature!
Of course! Huh? And what now? Huh? Yes? What is it? I didn't hit you very hard.
Uh-huh.
Huh? And what now? He hardly put up a fight. Too easy. On my way. And again.
Understood. Damn.
The first 20 are mine.
You have come far, but this is far enough. Give me the artifacts and the books you stole in Greenglade, and I'll set you free.
What's with the artifacts and the books?
They belong to me. Lord Yonan was supposed to bring them to Forrester, but forgot them. So, I came to pick them up. That's all you need to know.
What have you done to the other Magi? Your famulus told us some cock and bull story about you forcing them and their famuli to go to Parista and then murdering them.
I did what had to be done to protect Girdlegard. I wish there had been another way. But they would never have understood.
Do your eyes deceive you, or do you really see a brief moment of real regret on the swollen face of the Magus?
You wanting my rucksack is enough reason for me not to give it to you.
I don't need your consent. Look after the rucksack. If you lose it, you will also lose your life. Go back to your realm, dwarves, and let your king know that I need his land. Either he hands it over without a drop of blood being spilt, or my troops and allies take it by force. You can take this one with you. I have no use for him.
Invisible wizard, Maya!
Look!
Let me handle her. Kill the dwarves!
The rucksack! The artifacts! If he wants them so badly, they might be the key to his destruction.
There's the orc with the rucksack! Let's get him! What is it? Yes? On my way! Huh? Huh?
Huh?
And what now? What is it?
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Understood.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
What a waste of time.
Please wait a moment.
What is it? Yes? Easy!
Huh?
And what now? I've got the rucksack. Who's next?
Let's get out of here. Over the bridge.
Too easy! Huh?
Yes?
What a waste of time.
On my way.
On my way! Yes?
Huh?
Too easy! I didn't hear you!
I didn't even take off my gloves.
Uh-huh.
What is it?
What a waste of time.
Another one bites the dust! Yes?
Let's get out of here.
Retreat? We should fight on!
We would die! Perhaps you've noticed that Nodon has risen again, headless. He is more powerful than the Perished Land itself, but the key to his destruction is in here.
We will return to the Secondlings and tell them what the Magus is up to. We'll be safe at Ogre's death, and there we can hatch a plan.
If we manage to get there. Nodon will do anything to stop us.
Then let him try! That was fun! What's next?
Boindil looks at you, and the sparkle in his eyes goes out.
We are both very sorry about what happened here, Tungdil.
You told me, Cynthia said. I convinced myself that...
You gulp and turn away from your friends.
Ha! That's what I call a goodly challenge. Cover me.
Not a good idea if you want to go on living, dwarf.
You've got quite a big mouth for someone who sounds like a girl.
You are Andikai, the Tempestuous, right?
Correct. And you are Tungdil, Lot Yonan's charge.
Honourable Mega, what news of Lot Yonan? Does he live?
Andikai looks at you in silence, pain and rage slowly spreading across her face.
He is dead, Tungdil, along with Myra, Turga, and Sabora. Nod-On killed them all and destroyed the Council of Magi.
The certainty of their death is painful. It feels as though someone has just torn your insides out.
He killed their best pupils, too. And now he's the unchallenged Magus in Girdlegard.
It was you, wasn't it, that attacked them with the lightning? Were you any more successful than we were?
Andikai shakes her head.
He defied everything I threw at him. All of my skills. In vain. I soon realized he was superior to me, but I wanted to buy you some time.
Nodon's famula said that he had changed the magical fields, but you still seem to be able to use them.
Andikai smiles.
I'm not quite as benevolent as the other Magi. My god Samusin is the god of balance. He loves the darkness as much as the light, which means I can use both. But my powers aren't unlimited. It is difficult for me to store and use this altered magic. We should avoid confrontation as much as possible.
Your companion, won't he sit with us and introduce himself?
Yes! Hey, you up there! Can you even hear us with that bucket on your head?
Jeroen is mute, and he won't do you any harm unless I command him to. And as long as you treat him with courtesy, dwarf.
Boindale seems to briefly weigh up his chances against the two of them.
I decide when I'm courteous. Just don't get in my way. And the orcs are mine!
What happened? How could he defeat the Council of Magi?
Nudin called us to Parista, under the guise of reinforcing the barrier against the perished land. Instead, he tricked us, took control of most of our powers and attacked us. I cut him down with my sword, but he rose again and impaled me with his staff. All I can remember after that is the sound of fighting, destruction, and cries of death.
How did you survive?
Jerun. Nudin had forgotten he was with me in Parista. He found me, tended to my wounds and brought me out of the city to safety until I could summon up enough power to heal myself.
And Lot Yonan?
When Jerun carried me away, he was frozen in stone, like a statue. To my knowledge, the spell cannot be reversed.
You nod slowly. You don't have the strength to say anything else right now.
What will you do now?
Leave this place. I'm not so foolish as to believe that I could restrain the perished land or nod on. Why should I stay here?
Foolish, no! But cowardly!
You're on your way to the kingdom of the Secondlings, right? Then I will accompany you and leave Girdlegard by the High Pass.
We'll need all the help we can get. Nodon will have a lot worse in store for us than just orcs.
The Maga nods in agreement. Then she looks pensively at your rucksack.
Your rucksack? Why did Nodon want it?
I was taking some objects to Goren, one of Lot Yonan's family. He was murdered at Greenglade by an elf. There were books lying next to his body which he was planning to send to Turga the Fair-Faced.
May I see them?
You nod. Take the books out of your rucksack and hand them to her. She goes through the letter and the books, one after another, without showing any sign of emotion. Finally, she closes the last of the books.
Is that all? They are only sagas and travelogues from the Outer Lands, which tell of legendary creatures and myths. I don't know why they should be of interest to Nodon.
There must be something in them that's important to him. He destroyed a whole village for them, and the vaults.
Possibly. I'll study the books. But let's sleep now. Jerun can keep watch. We are still being followed.
The path leads you through a ravine, whose steep walls are mainly made up of loose boulders and scree. You could probably cause a rockfall that would block your pursuer's path and obstruct your way back. It takes longer than you would have liked to trigger a rockfall that is big enough, but when the dust settles, you realize that you have been rewarded for your troubles. The path is blocked. In the afternoon, with the sun low in the sky, the path leads you through a ravine. A glance at your map suggests that you're near to Boribor, the Orc realm.
Fracas, may we remain unscathed.
About a mile further on, Boindil suddenly stops in his tracks and sniffs.
Can you smell that? Piggy snouts! And lots of them too!
Let's proceed with caution. Perhaps we can take a few of them out before they raise the alarm.
Not a bad idea.
And what now? What is it?
Huh?
Let's go. Of course.
Not a bad idea. What is it?
Yes?
And what now? Yes? And again.
Now you've got me interested.
Huh?
Huh? What is it?
What is it?
Yes?
And what now?
Huh?
Huh? Yes! I didn't hit you very hard. I'll be ready soon. Let's go. I'm on my way. And what now?
I have to.
On my way.
Not a bad idea.
What is it? Huh?
What is it?
We hardly put up a fight.
Yes?
Huh? What is it?
Now you've got me interested.
Huh? Yes?
What is it? Huh?
What is it?
Ow! Another one bites the dust.
Huh?
Huh? Yes? Who's next?
Hmm?
Huh?
And what now? Huh? Little piggies!
Now you've got me interested.
Huh?
Huh?
What a waste of time.
What is it?
Hmm?
Huh? I can't do that yet.
What is it? Yes?
Now you've got me interested.
Uh-huh.
I didn't hit you very hard. Ow! Another one bites the dust. Huh?
What is it?
What is it? What is it?
Hmm?
Uh-huh.
Huh? Huh?
Now you've got me interested. No chance.
Too easy! Yeah!
Kill! Please wait a moment.
And what now?
Huh?
What is it? What is it?
What is it?
Pow! Another one bites the dust. I didn't hit you very hard.
Huh?
Huh? I'm not that quick. Huh?
Hmm?
We only put up a fight. On my way.
Uh-huh.
And what now? Yes? Yeah!
Now you've got me interested.
Yes?
idea.
What is it? I'm with you.
What is it?
Huh?
What is it? Yes?
Now you've got me interested.
Vile creature!
No chance.
Yes? Next! And what now? Ow! Another one bites the dust. He put up a fight.
Huh?
What is it? Yes?
What is it?
Yes?
Who's next?
Not a bad idea.
Vile creature. Yeah! Yeah! Ha ha! Yeah! Huh? Huh? Who's next?
If I have to. Not a bad idea.
On my way!
Understood.
Yes! On my way! We should go down into the caves and vaults. There'll be more of them down there.
Or maybe we should concentrate on finally getting to Ogre's Death Stronghold, Boindale.
You ignore the offended look on your friend's face and set off, leaving the Orc Mountains behind you. You have put out a plate of food for the night every evening since Jeroen and Andakai joined you on your journey. but still none of you have seen him eat. You decide to pay particular attention to him this evening, to try and find out what is under the helmet. Andakai is sitting not far from the giant, studying the books.
Have you found anything useful yet?
She looks up at you.
You think I will stay and fight if there is a spell in the books that might defeat Nodon?
Yours is the god of balance. Don't you see it as your duty to create a balance between light and dark?
Instead of answering, Andakai rubs her eyes and closes the books.
It's too dark to study. Let's see what tomorrow brings.
Disgruntled, you watch the Mega as she walks over to her bed for the night. Your eyes fall upon Jeroen and the plate at his feet, on which not a crumb of food is left. You can already see the oasis a day's journey away, but in the glimmer of the midday sun, you're not sure whether it might not just be a mirage. But the twins are convinced that there is a village here, and the prospect of a roof over your heads for the night keeps you going. The nearer you get to the oasis, the more the uneasy feeling grows that something's not right. It's too quiet, and you don't see any movement. Once you enter the village, your fears are confirmed. Your enemies have already been here.
I'm telling you, it's a trap.
If it is, then we'll soon find out.
This whole thing is probably a trap. We should...
Welcome to Pasnar. I'm sure the citizens would greet you themselves, if they could.
You recognize the elf immediately. You saw him with the leaders of the orcs, and he appeared to you in a dream after Greenglade. Or no, not in a dream.
Sintheras.
So we meet again, Tungdil. What do you think of my work in the vaults? It was a nice start, wasn't it?
An eerie smile sets on Sintheras's lips.
Wonderful. I can see the hatred in your eyes. Come on. Come and get your revenge.
Done. What is it? Yes?
Hmm? I didn't even take off my gloves.
Uh-huh.
And what now? Huh?
Now you've got me interested.
Huh?
Huh?
take off my gloves?
And again. Vile creature.
Even take off my gloves.
And what now?
What is it?
Kill. And again. As good as done.
Yes?
Huh? Yes?
I didn't even take off my gloves.
Pow! Another one bites the dust. Too easy.
Waste of time.
Of course.
No chance.
On
Not a
my
bad
way.
idea. If I have to.
As good as done. Of course. What is it? What is it?
Now you've got me interested. And I didn't even take off my gloves. What a waste of time.
Yes?
Yeah! Yeah! Huh? Huh?
Hmm?
Who's next?
Uh-huh.
Yeah!
What a waste of time.
As
Not
good
a
as
bad
done.
idea.
And what now? What is it? And again.
Now you've got me interested.
Ow! Another one bites the dust.
What a waste of time. And I didn't even take off my gloves.
On my way! As good as done.
Retreat! Back! Why are you here? And how can you possibly still use magic?
The one person your master left living is the one you would least like to have as an enemy. Go on, little Alf. Flee.
Your magic saved you this time. But next time, I'll be prepared.
I've had enough of fighting. It's about time we head to your home.
I've had enough too. But we've got several days in the desert ahead of us before we can enjoy a cold beer.
The longer we talk about it, the later we'll get to our beer. Let's go.
You've been traveling through the desert for days. The sand is simply everywhere. In your shoes, under your clothes, in your mouths. Even the makeshift cloths that you've wrapped around your heads is of little help. With the last of the energy you can muster, you finally leave the 40-mile-wide sandbar that separated you from Ogre's death. It is as if you've passed through an invisible wall when the raging wind and sand suddenly falls silent. In front of you, an enormous massif towers into the sky, the Blue Range. The slopes cast long shadows over Ogre's Death Fortress, which nestles in the spurs of the mountain. Even from this distance it looks impressive, with its 4 defensive terraces, one above the other. The anticipation of entering a real dwarven city for the first time grows with every step, and you feel the power returning to your limbs. You've almost done it.
My High King, you have called me to succeed you to the throne. Here I stand before you.
Well... Before you are chosen as the successor to the High King, hear, King Gandagar, the challenges that await you. Hordes of orcs are rampaging through the north and the west, and the perished land is stirring. It would seem that the Magi cannot sustain the barriers.
This gives us an excellent opportunity to attack the last elves in Alandor. They are weakened. The perished land afflicts them. Let us wipe out the traitors once and for all.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Hear, hear.
Madness. What are you talking about?
I do not recognize you, King Gandagar, in what you are saying. The elves are inhabitants of Girdlegard. Has your hatred for them clouded your senses to the point that you wish to ignore the words of our god?
Belendelin's gaze falls, as if incidentally, on the King of the Fourthlings' advisor.
Or is someone giving you bad advice?
On the contrary, it was Bislipper who finally supplied me with the proof. A report titled How the Fiflings Lost the Gate. It was the elves that poisoned the brave Fifling warriors in their stronghold. A devious disease spread by the pointy ears in the shafts of the Grey Range. Impossible! I always knew it!
Treason! I don't believe
They should
that.
pay for it!
Get to the point here! Enough! Don't be so short-sighted! We are talking about the safety of Girdle Guard. We must reach out and forge a large coalition with the elves. Yes, and even with the Thirdlings, if we are to defeat the perished land.
My High King! You cannot be serious!
Drivel from a dwarf who has grown too old in his post. Are we not here to choose a new High King? We have waited long enough.
It would seem you will have to wait a little bit longer. The second aspirant has arrived. Our guests must be tired from their long journey. The meeting is adjourned till tomorrow.
But why do you think that I...
Everything will become clear. I've had a room prepared for you. Before you take to your bed, please pay the High King and I a visit in the throne room.